What if I told you the plant behind one of the deadliest poisons ever made is sitting in your bathroom cabinet right now, and it might be the cheapest thing you own for an aching joint? I'm not exaggerating. The castor bean is where assassins get ricin. Same exact plant, and yet the thick, slow oil we press out of those beans once went head-to-head with a prescription painkiller in a real clinical trial, and it held its own. But here's what actually made me sit up. The one compound doing all the heavy lifting in castor oil is a close chemical cousin of the chili pepper. The same kind of molecule that sets a jalapeno on fire is the reason this stuff can calm a swollen, furious knee, just without the burn. Stick with me, because once you see how this works, you can't unsee it. The oil itself isn't the magic. The magic is a fatty acid inside it called ricinoleic acid. And get this, ricinoleic acid makes up about 90% of castor oil. Most oils are a messy crowd of a dozen different fats all arguing with each other. This one is basically a single specialist who shows up to do one job and does it really well. What makes it different is a tiny structural quirk. It carries an extra little hook of oxygen on its 12th carbon, a hydroxyl group if you want to sound clever at dinner, and almost no other everyday plant oil has that. That one hook is why it acts less like cooking oil and more like a drug. It even soaks into skin deeper than most oils, which matters when the problem is buried inside a joint. So how does a fatty acid end up behaving like medicine? That's where the chili pepper walks back in. Inside your body, there's a messenger with a gloriously boring name, substance P. Think of it as the telegram your nerves fire off when something hurts. More substance P, more ow. Now, capsaicin, the heat in chili peppers, works by first flooding those nerves and then draining that telegram supply. It grabs onto a nerve switch called the TRV1 receptor, the same little doorbell that screams hot when you bite a pepper. That's why a capsaicin cream burns for a second, then strangely numbs the ache underneath. Back in the year 2000, Italian researchers put ricinoleic acid right next to capsaicin and watched the two behave almost like twins. Same pathway, same TRV1 switch, same quiet draining of substance P. The big difference? Castor oil skips the fire. Sit with that. A grandmother's remedy and a pharmacy pain cream are knocking on the exact same door. And now the part that genuinely surprised me when I went digging. Almost everybody uses castor oil on the skin. Rub it on, wrap the joint, done. But the strongest human evidence we have has nothing to do with the skin. In 2009, a research team ran a proper double-blind trial. That's the gold standard kind, where nobody, not the patient and not the doctor, knows who's getting what. 100 people with knee osteoarthritis. Half got a small castor oil capsule 3 times a day. The other half got diclofenac, a serious prescription anti-inflammatory. 4 weeks later, both groups got better, by about the same amount. But the diclofenac group racked up the usual baggage, the stomach trouble and the irritation. The castor oil group reported none of it, 0 side effects. A folk remedy went toe-to-toe with a prescription drug and basically tied it, while being gentler. That's not some guy on the internet talking. That's a published clinical trial you can look up tonight. Now let's circle back to that poison, because it's wilder than it sounds. The castor seed contains ricin, one of the most lethal substances known to humanity, the kind that's turned up in spy thrillers and actual assassination cases. A handful of raw seeds can kill a grown adult. So why on earth are we rubbing this on our bodies? Because ricin is a protein and it isn't fat-soluble. When the seeds are cold-pressed, the ricin gets left behind in the leftover pulp. It never comes along for the ride in the oil. Properly made castor oil has none of it. That's also exactly why you buy cold-pressed, hexane-free oil from a brand you trust, and you never mess around with raw seeds yourself. The same seed holds the poison and the medicine. The pressing is the line between them. Here's a deep cut almost nobody's heard of. Back in 1999, orthopedic doctors in Munich were running shockwave therapy, those high-energy pulses they use to break up calcium deposits and stubborn tendon pain. It stings on the skin, so they tested different gels to cushion the surface. Standard ultrasound gel, Vaseline, and castor oil. Castor oil won. Patients felt less surface pain with it than with the other two. And the doctors weren't even testing it as a treatment. They were using it as a buffer, an afterthought, and it still quietly knocked the pain down. That's the kind of accidental result that tells you something real is going on. And none of this is new, not even a little. Castor oil shows up in the Ebers Papyrus, an Egyptian medical scroll from around 1550 BC. Archaeologists have pulled castor seeds straight out of ancient tombs. Cleopatra reportedly used it. In the Old World, they called it Palma Christi, the palm of Christ, because the leaf looks like an open hand, and people swore it could heal just about anything. Then in the 20th century, an American named Edgar Cayce made the castor oil pack famous all over again for inflammation and stiff joints. Which brings us, finally, to the part you actually clicked for. So, how do you actually use this on a sore joint? The simplest way is a warm massage. Take a little cold-pressed castor oil, warm it slightly between your palms or in a bowl of hot water, and rub it into the joint for 5 to 10 minutes. The warmth opens things up, the massage moves stale fluid around, and the ricinoleic acid does its quiet work underneath. A drop of ginger or eucalyptus oil mixed in gives it an extra kick. But the classic move is the castor oil pack, and it's worth doing right. Take a piece of wool or cotton flannel, fold it into a few layers, and soak it in castor oil until it's saturated but not dripping. Lay it flat over the painful joint. Cover that with a sheet of plastic wrap so it doesn't stain everything you own. Then set a warm, not scalding, heating pad or hot water bottle on top. Lie back and leave it on for 45 minutes to an hour. Why the heat? 2 reasons. It helps the oil sink in, and gentle warmth by itself loosens stiff arthritic joints. It's the same reason a hot shower feels so good on a bad morning. Do it 3 or 4 times a week and give it a couple of weeks before you judge it. Quick heads up, castor oil stains like crazy, so wear old clothes and lay down a towel. You can reuse the same pack for a while, just keep it in a glass jar in the fridge between sessions. One honest note. You'll hear people say the pack drains your lymph and detoxes you. That part is mostly tradition, not proven. What we can stand behind is that the oil calms local inflammation, and the warmth and massage loosen the joint and feel good. That's plenty. Now, let me be straight with you, because you deserve it. A lot of the deep science here, the substance P piece and the swelling, comes from animal studies. The one strong human trial used the oral capsule, not the skin pack. So castor oil is a promising helper, not a miracle, and definitely not a swap for whatever your doctor has you on for arthritis. Don't start swallowing it on your own. It's a powerful laxative, and the dose really matters. Skip it completely if you're pregnant because it can trigger contractions. Dab a little on your forearm first as a patch test in case your skin throws a fit. And if a joint is hot, red, badly swollen, or the pain is climbing fast, that's not a castor oil moment. That's a call your doctor moment. Real quick before the last bit, if this video taught you something new today, do me one tiny favor and comment the word yes down below. Honestly, that's what tells us people want this, and it motivates us to keep producing videos like this one. And if you want more simple science-backed remedies, you know what the subscribe button is for. Okay, last thing. For the everyday stuff, the stiff knee, the achy fingers in the morning, and the shoulder that complains every time it rains, you've got a warm cloth, a thick old oil, and a molecule that fights pain like a chili pepper without the fire. Pretty remarkable for something that's been sitting quietly in medicine cabinets for 3,000 years. Try the pack a few times this week. Give it a fair, honest shot. And the next time somebody tells you the old remedies are just superstitions, you tell them about the trial that tied a prescription drug and the poison seed that somehow gives us one of the gentlest things in the whole cabinet.